How's it going? I'm Ryan. Today I'm going to go over the three trades I took. Really, it's two trades, but I got stopped out and re-entered one of them. I had two wins, one loss today, so we have a decent profit. We're up about $246 on the day. Not bad. Could have been probably a better day, but we'll go over the trades I took and why. And let's take a look. So my first two trades were on ES, so we'll start there. ES was above, or excuse me, it was not above. ES was within the Friday's price range, and then we had this pre-market range that we were watching. In the first 15 minutes, we broke and closed below that pre-market low range. This is our kind of our cue to look for an entry short for some sort of continuation, such as a retest of that range, which is what we entered. And let's take a look at those two trades. So pull up ES on the 5-minute and the 2-minute here, and we'll take a look at why we traded ES. We got that break lower on the 5 and the 15-minute. We can see that pretty clear here. Once we got that, we were looking for a retest of this pre-market low slash this EMA area. I entered a little prematurely, so I entered here. Once we came up and we retested that EMA, and then we opened kind of around that pre-market low and started heading down, I entered a short, risking just above that EMA. I was going to take profit at low a day and then leave a runner or two. You can see price came up and it stopped me out by the very point. So my stop loss was 781, and it went to 781.1.2, something like that. So I got stopped out by less than 1/10 of a point. Frustrating, but we re-entered. So I got stopped out. That was avoidable had I just had a better entry. So the reason why my stop was there is because my entry, I had to calculate risk reward and make it worth it for myself. It was a little bit wider of a stop loss, but I didn't expect to get stopped out. I expected this to work. So I got stopped out just barely. I re-entered once we closed below that EMA, and then we started to reject off again. I entered another short right at pre-market low right here at 78. Placed my stop above the EMA again. Took a place to take profit right down in here, and was going to leave runners. Now we came down and we hit my first take profit, so I got most of my position out right here. But then we came up and retested, and I had my break-even stop loss for my runners, and I got stopped out for break-even on my runners, and then we got continuation down. So what was the lesson here? The lesson here was my original entry could have been better, and had my original entry been better, we wouldn't have had a stop, and we would have gotten much more of that move, right? We would have hit our first take profit. If I got an entry somewhere up in here, then my break-even stop loss wouldn't have been hit, and we could have had our runners make a little bit more. So could have had a really good day off this trade. This setup was nice, right? The break of the pre-market range on multiple time frames, the retest of an EMA and key level, evidence of a rejection, enter, small risk, decent reward. And so yeah, we came out of this trade break even, right? I lost 210, I made about 240 with contracts. With the price of contracts, I came out up $7, I think was my profit after these two trades. So essentially break even at this point. I was a little frustrated to watch this trade play out and know that I just didn't execute well enough. I was in the right place at the right time. I just didn't manage the trade as well as I could have, and it cost me some money. All right, now on NQ is a different situation. NQ is really choppy today, really choppy, and it still is, but I was able to catch a decent little piece of this. So what I was watching here is NQ fell down to its previous day high zone. That's this right here, previous day, Friday high. And what I was watching is it was kind of chopping around in here. It was rejecting off the top of it, kind of holding around the bottom of it, but what it was doing was forming this flag, and that flag was evident on all time frames. 15-minute you can see it, the 5-minute you can see it, the 2-minute you can see it, and really what I was watching was a break of this flag and then some sort of retest and then new lows. We got the break and retest on the 2-minute, but I didn't really trust it with how choppy it was. I wanted to see some sort of confirmation on a higher time frame, so I waited for the break and closed below on the 5-minute, so this right here. On this following candle, I just set a limit order right at that EMA, kind of right at that EMA, right at that excuse me, previous day high zone. We got filled and placed my stop 18 points above, so I just placed my stop just a little bit above like these wicks in the 200 EMA, gave myself about 18 points, 17 points of risk, and I targeted this low, which was 24 points. A break of this low, excuse me, which was about 24 points. We had essentially no drawdown here. We came down and we hit that new low on the day, and we took out this low, and we were able to take our first target. Once we did that, I placed my runner. I had one contract left, and I placed the stop loss for that single contract to break even, and was trying to target a move down to like pre-market low. If we got a break on that flag, I wanted to see continuation lower, and we did not get it. So price kind of reversed from there, and we were stopped out at break even on our runner as well. So failed to get continuation on the two trades that we did win, and so that was definitely leaving a little money on the table. In the order of probably like close to $150 or so between the two trades at least, by having those stopped out, if not more, $200 difference. But it is what it is. You're not always going to get the most perfect move, but I was happy to be able to get this. So this trade was essentially just looking at this flag that existed on all time frames, get a break and close below on a higher time frame, get the retest, manage risk, look to take profit at new lows for continuation, and that's what we did. So overall pretty solid, and we're happy that we were able to get out of there with a nice little win. Brought us overall, like I said, 246 on the day. That's mostly just from this trade right here. I was up $7 or something. I made 240 on this one, minus contract fees. Yeah, decent little day, and we're right back up into this kind of choppy area. So not the easiest day to trade. This ES setup was by far the best setup, right? This break and retest of this right here to new lows, it did move really well. If you got in somewhere up in here, 79, let's say, it made lows around 67. It's over a 10-point move that you could have got at least a decent chunk of. So I just didn't really get that full move, and that's nobody's fault but my own. Just have to manage things better, but we're still happy to walk away with a winning day, and our account is at new all-time highs. So Friday we hit new all-time high in the account. Today we hit another new all-time high account. Drawdowns down about $48. That's just from our runners getting stopped out. So we're feeling pretty solid, and it looks like we were up over 1,800 actually, I guess, with our runner. So almost hit that nice number. We are looking to continue this winning streak. We've had 4 days in a row of winning going to last week. The past 4 trading days for me have all been green, which is solid. And I'm just looking to continue that. So keep our losses small, keep our wins bigger, and just wait for nice setups and setups that have a higher probability of working, and hopefully we can get there. That's all I got. I will be out tomorrow, but I will be back for the rest of the week trading. So take it easy. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Peace.